The two candidates imploring voters, Macron defiant but defaced after 5 years in power, and Le Pen, hard right, soft smile. It is towns like Melun that they need to win over, towns where the promise of France rubs up against the daily peril of reality. The food bank at the bottom of this tower block feeds 381 families. They didn't want to be filmed, and Bernard, the man in charge, didn't really want to talk politics.
We don't have to speak about politics.
Yeah.
We don't have to speak about religion.
Yeah. Sure, you don't want to. That's fine, fair enough.
I cannot.
But we can speak about people suffering and not being able to...
What's suffering?
Suffering, souffrir. You know, people not being able to afford to buy food and so on.
Yes.
That's the reality, isn't it?
That's a reality, yes.
Yeah.
More and more.
But politics is what this town is famous for, because it's here that the Gilets jaunes protest movement started in late 2018 at this very roundabout. What began as grumbling about an increase in the fuel tax to pay for President Macron's green policies morphed into a full-scale assault on the establishment in Paris. The Arc de Triomphe choked on tear gas, hundreds were injured, and Macron only cleared the streets when he made one concession after another. A nondescript roundabout, an hour's drive from the capital. It could be anywhere in France, and that's the point, because this was ground zero of the Gilets jaunes movement, the biggest political crisis faced by President Macron in his first term, the symbol of that eternal battle in French politics between the angry street and the Élysée Palace. Should he get re-elected on Sunday, expect this place and the movement that was born here to get very busy once again. For now, the streets of Melun aren't angry, more sullen and full of surprises, where dislike of the incumbent president trumps fear of the woman who wants to replace him. Tu as décidé?
Oui.
Pour qui tu votes?
Oui.
Tu me dis?
Vous voulez que je vous le dise?
Oui.
Pour Marine Le Pen.
Pourquoi?
Parce que je trouve que son programme est très bien et malgré que tout le monde ne soit pas d'accord sur ces lois pour le voile, le port du voile, je pense que c'est quand même une bonne présidente et il faut lui laisser sa chance parce que Macron vit dans un monde de riches.
Je pense que je voterai Marine Le Pen parce qu'il s'est passé trop de choses sous Macron et c'est pas normal. Comme tu dis, le stress des jeunes et tout ça.
Ceux qui disent qu'elle est raciste, qu'est-ce que tu dis?
Je sais pas, elle a des comportements assez douteux, mais je dirais pas qu'elle est raciste, je sais pas.
Je vais voter pour Marine Le Pen, elle est dynamique.
Elle est dynamique?
Oui, c'est ce que je trouve, moi.
Ah oui?
Depuis qu'elle est en tête, depuis 2017, toutes les promesses qu'elle a faites, elles sont passées tout devant le nez.
Macron is still the favourite to win on Sunday, but with the anti-establishment mood on the rise, shadows abound. Well, with me now is Salomé Saké, a journalist and political commentator on the Blast website. Thank you very much for coming on the programme. I was really surprised to hear young black voices, French black voices, women, saying that they're going to vote for Marine Le Pen. Should I have been surprised?
Well, the political configuration right now in France is very special because it's not a vote for. We are at the second round of the election. People are not going to vote for Marine Le Pen or for Emmanuel Macron. They're going to vote against. It's a vote of anger, and it depends on how much they hate. They're going to vote against who they hate the most.
It's an unpopularity contest.
Yes, I think it's definitely what it is. And Macron has led the country during 5 years, and people, especially the ones who suffered in their flesh his policy, especially the ones, for example, who went to protest, now are very deeply angry, and it's an emotional vote. They cannot vote for him, and some even are going to vote for Marine Le Pen, even though they do not agree with her.
So you covered the Gilets jaunes protests in great detail and did a fantastic job. Do you expect them to start again if Macron is elected?
I think if he gets elected, there are definitely going to be some protests. But there is another thing that needs not be forgotten, are the legislative elections in 6 weeks. So if he gets elected, there is still a political way to stop him from applying his policy. And the leader of the left wing, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, called a few days ago, he called the French to elect him. So maybe the protest is first of all going to be in the poll, in the ballot boxes, and maybe then in the streets if Macron applies his policy.
Where is the protest in the streets going to be louder, with Macron as president or Le Pen as president?
That's a very good question. I don't know, but I think Marine Le Pen elected would definitely be a surprise. The question is, are we going to have the tools as citizens to protest if the far right gets elected? Because she is not really a fan of democracy, let's say.
Let's leave it there. Salamith Saki, thank you very much indeed for coming on.